Hey, it's Michelle Croyle. I'm glad you're listening in this week to Trauma Healing for Christian Women. I'm not feeling so well this week, so I am pulling one of our best listened to episodes out of the archives from 3 years ago on intrusive thoughts, and I hope it helps you to find some relief if that's something that you or someone you know is struggling with. Have you ever had a thought that comes into your mind out of nowhere and really bothers you? And then the more it bothers you, the more it shows up, the more you try to fight it, and the more it bothers you, and the more it shows up. And it's this cycle where you're getting more anxious, feeling more horrible about yourself, being sure that somebody's going to come put you in a hospital if you tell them about it, call the police on you, or that God's going to send you to hell because you shouldn't be thinking these things. Those are most likely intrusive thoughts. They're not necessarily what you believe or what you will act upon. They are simply part of your brain firing. And in fact, sometimes the intrusive thoughts are exactly opposite to what we think or believe when we really are sober-minded and who we really are and what really aligns with our values. So let me tell you, from the start here, if you're having or have had intrusive thoughts and you're worried that you're a horrible person because you've had intrusive thoughts, I can assure you that you're not necessarily a horrible person. In fact, it's probably the opposite. The reason that it distresses you so much is because it is against your very beliefs and your value system. And so if you look at it that way, then you can gain some flexible thinking and strategies for dealing with it, because it's not about you being awful. Here's what it's about. It's about our brains having 1 billion neurons. These cells that fire and pick up stuff from our environment and make connections even without our awareness. But if it's something that's really intrusive, it may not be so easy to shake. So an example that I like to use is that I can go to Disney World and I can smell one of those amazing turkey legs. If you've ever been to Disney World in Magic Kingdom, they have these really big turkey legs and they're kind of, I don't know, brined or barbecued or something. I don't know what they do to them. And they smell to me very amazing. And yet I'm a vegetarian. So my system notices that smell. My mouth starts to salivate. I'm actually feeling like I would like to have a bite of a turkey leg from Disney World right now. And yet, I don't want a turkey leg. If someone brought it to me, I would say, oh, please get that away from me. But my brain picked up on information when I was there, and it registered it as a smell that I liked, and so it made me think I wanted something I didn't want. It's the same with intrusive thoughts. It may not be that you want something or like something. It may just be that something registered. So it might be more like, I hate the smell of the turkey leg and I don't want anything, but it still popped into my mind. That might be a more accurate analogy there for you. But it doesn't mean that I wasn't aware of the turkey leg, right? So you might have intrusive thoughts and they might cause you distress. But most likely they're causing you distress because you don't agree with them. They're not a part of your value system. Oftentimes it's the opposite of what you really believe in that is so troublesome about the intrusive thoughts. Because when your brain just makes a connection from those billions of cells that the brains have, and we start to judge it as if it means something, when to us it doesn't mean anything more than the brain made a connection, but we get upset because the brain picked up on something and made some connection. We start this anxious cycle, where we try to get rid of it, and then the more we try to get rid of it and it doesn't go away, the more anxious we get, and so the more intrusive thoughts we have, and the more struggle, and just this cycle that we cannot get off of, it seems. So the thing that has happened in my life that I really have found powerful is that when I have an intrusive thought, and it doesn't happen as much as it did in the past, because in the past I used to fight it. I used to try to fight it. And now I don't try to fight it. I can disagree with it. I can notice I disagree with the thought, that it's not my core belief or value. But what I do with it instead is I say, God, you know I'm having an intrusive thought and that my brain wants to keep working on it to push it away or prove it's not true, and that doesn't help anything. So Lord, I know you know that that's not what I believe. That's not what I want. It's not what I agree with, and I don't want to give it any more time to think about it. So Lord, I just give it to you, and I trust that you know that that's my brain doing that. That's just brain cells, and that's not me, or a prayer, something like that. And Lord, you know that's not what I want. And so I'm just going to basically ignore it and notice it's there and notice what it is. And it's just a neuron firing that doesn't mean anything. It's not indicative of what I want or who I am or what I value or what is true or real. It's just a brain cell firing. And then, God, I'm going to rest in your peace, that I know that you're not holding this against me. I know there's nothing wrong with me. I know this is just something that happens sometimes to humans, and oftentimes in times of stress, transition, or anxiety. And if you've had PTSD, it can kind of be that type of thing. And it may even lead to obsessive compulsive things where, maybe you feel you have to touch something so many times to alleviate the distress of the thought. If instead you lay it before the Lord and go, Lord, wow, there's some intrusive thought stuff going on right there. But Lord, that's not what you have for me. And rather than give it more attention and try to fight it, which makes the cycle stronger, Lord, I'm going to tell you I don't believe in it. And I ask you to just cleanse me, forgive me, keep me pure. And Lord, I'm just going to let it go now. And I'm going to know that you love me and it's okay. That I love you, you love me, and those thoughts don't mean anything about me. That's just my brain at the moment, kind of misfiring, coming up with some stuff that I don't want it to. So we're moving on now, God. And if you do that, it takes the anxiety away because you no longer have to fear what's going to happen if this thought keeps coming. You can notice, whether the thought comes or not, I'm okay. And I know God knows that that's not my heart. And so I'm going to go on with my life. And then when the thought can't get a charge out of you, your nervous system relaxes more. And so it doesn't continue to be anxious, which can perpetuate the thought. So it's a roundabout way to deal with it for a Christian. I've found it personally helpful. And if you are afraid that, like, what if your thoughts in particular are too violent, too sexual in nature, too dangerous or scary, too graphic, it's not unusual. Those are things that therapists hear all the time. Again, they're just ways that the brain is either connecting or aware of information, and it can often be the opposite of what you believe or feel, and that's what makes it so novel and distressing. So if you have feelings of hurting somebody, someone you love, hurting a child, hurting yourself, something sexually graphic, dying, catastrophic illness, anything like that, and it's not based in reality. It's not what you want. It's not who you are. It's not happening. It's not true. It's not happening in the present. It's against what you believe in. Just let it go. Let God know that you know it's an intrusive thought and that you trust His grace to cover you, and that you're just not going to pay attention to that because you don't want to give it fuel. And as you refuse to give it fuel and refuse to get anxious about it, and instead just matter-of-factly go, that's an intrusive thought. Okay, let's go wash dishes or whatever. Just you're training your system to be able to not be taken hostage by thoughts. It's the same with feelings. Feelings and thoughts only take us hostage when we let them have power. When we have power over them and tell them, I can notice that I feel that way, that doesn't mean it's true. I can notice that I had that thought, that doesn't mean I believe in it or I accept it, right? Then we gain power and we don't perpetuate the anxiety and the lies and the distress. We just notice, it's just a feeling. It's just a thought. Now, if we do agree with something, like we string our thoughts or feelings together and they tell us something and we determine that we do agree with it and it does have a basis, then that's one thing. But when we don't have any basis for it, when it's not who we really are, it's not according to our value systems, and we don't want it, or it's making us think things that are not true or not true about ourselves, then it serves no purpose, and it's okay to let it go and realize that's all it is. It's just information that your body faultily thought it needed to bring to your awareness. And you determined, because you're in charge of your nervous system now, it doesn't get to hijack you. No, thanks for the information, but no thanks. And then you go on with your life. And when you realize that and you can shift from being hijacked by your nervous system, by your thoughts and your feelings, to telling yourself the truth and recognizing that the thoughts and feelings that just automatically happen are not an indication of your salvation or who you are or what you really believe, you can take action and power out of that and gain freedom. And that's really, really powerful because you can relax because there's nothing to prove. You know you're not a bad person. Just like when I go to Disney World and I smell that smell of the turkey leg, and then I remember I'm a vegetarian. I don't want a turkey leg. My thoughts, my feelings, my nose all tried to tell me one thing, but I get to decide, wait a minute, I don't eat meat. I don't actually want that. Interesting information you gave me, but it's leading to a false conclusion that I want meat. I don't. And that's how you can realize that you have power. You get to decide whether you agree or disagree and not be hijacked. I hope that's helpful. If you have intrusive thoughts, that does not mean that somebody needs to call the police on you. That does not mean that you're going to be taken away to a mental ward. That does not mean that you're a horrible person who's going to burn in hell. It means that it happens sometimes to all of us. Just neurons firing. It doesn't mean that you have to get distressed or obsessed or fight back and cause the cycle to continue. You can just notice it as if it's a cloud floating by. Put the thought on a cloud and just let it go away. Just observe it floating away. It doesn't have to stay. It only camps out if you try to engage it and let it stay. If you let it go and realize it doesn't pose a threat, it's just what it was, you can be free of it. This podcast is for educational purposes only. It's not a substitute for professional therapy. If you'd like to work with me, you can go into the show notes to get the link to sign up for the free consult or go to emdrpittsburgh.com. Talk to you next week.